So you're growing up in a very fragile time, right? For the inner cities. The Vietnam War had just finished and tons of people are hooked on heroin. But then in the
Yeah.
80s is the crack era. So what did you grow up what did you grow up seeing in regards to like the drug epidemic?
Like me growing up in my building, we used to find people like OD with needles in their arms, and it was more like the heroin. Those are like the times I remember, like, walking through the stairs in the building and finding dudes in the needles sticking out their arms on the corner. It was more of a heroin thing. Like the crack era, like I guess it started coming around. Maybe like I started seeing it when I first went to high school. Um, in Yonkers High, you started seeing like the young dudes with a lot of money, and you started seeing a lot of different things. Is when I started seeing what crack was. Certain blocks was like Night of the Living Dead zombies. You see lines for blocks waiting to get that fix. You know what I'm saying? So it was a different thing. But I didn't see crack. Like I said, crack, I didn't really see it until, like I said, high school. And then once I moved to Queens, you ain't really see crackheads like that unless you was like in certain areas, maybe like South Jamaica. But like where I was at in Woodside, it wasn't like that. It was more of a powder thing. You know what I mean? It was more powder than crack. It wasn't really crack over there like that. They wasn't really pushing that like they was in Yonkers or in the Bronx. Like it was a different. It was just different neighborhoods. They were pushing different things. Like I said, I didn't really see it till I went to high school.
So like when you're a little kid and you're seeing people ODing in the hallways and stuff, right? Like what is that like for you at that time?
Bro, I used to be scared to go out when you was a little kid, bro. You go outside, mommy sending you outside to take out the garbage, and you got to step over somebody you think is dead. Bro, you running outside, looking around, and running right back in. And then you look on the side of the stairs where you go down to the other floor, you see a dude like slumped over there. Like, it was like the boogeyman. You run right back upstairs and be like, mommy, there's somebody sleeping in the hallway. Shit like that. Like, it was
Did
just
she
bugged
like
out shit.
tell you like what was going on, or she just like said, "Oh, don't worry about it," or
Nah, she would just be like, stay away from them. And then, like, when we saw needles and stuff like that, she said, don't ever touch that. And, my mom was a kind of a little bit naive too. Like, I'm not going to lie, my mom was kind of naive to a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, she could see it going on in front of her. I don't know if she just used to just act like she didn't know what was going on, or she really didn't know what was going on, because I would have got the fuck up out of there. You know what I mean?
Mhm. So when you're seeing the needles, that's when you're in Yonkers though, right?
Yeah, that was in Yonkers. That was like, this, like I said, I was in before middle school. I was probably third grade, second grade. Like when I started seeing all the heroin shit going on, it was like that's all that we used to see. You know what I mean? The needles. I never really saw crackheads, and like I said, until I got to high school and I started moving around Yonkers more and shit like that. Like Elm Street. Elm Street was like the Night of the Living Dead, bro. I think it's still like that over there. That shit is like a fucking time bomb hit that fucking block. That shit was crazy.
So were you seeing like broken valves and everything like that everywhere,
Bro,
or
it
like
wasn't a
what was the
vials. They
scene
was
like?
copping it right there and smoking it right there. It was like, bro, it was crazy. It was like zombies.
Wow.
It was zombies. It wasn't like there was any shade in it. It's like you walking like, all right, like Elm Street back in the days, the C-Town where my mother used to work was right down, used to have to come down Elm Street, and it was on the corner of Elm Street, on, you know what I'm saying, the supermarket. So when you walking up, we used to take the long way around to go up the city steps, not to go through Elm Street to go to our house, because it was so many fucking crackheads. No matter what hours you went to, it was crackheads all the way up the block. You know what I'm saying? So we used to take the long way, not to go up that block.
Describe the
It
difference between the Bronx and Yonkers during that time.
I mean, Yonkers was more, like I said, Yonkers is smaller. It was a smaller area. Um, it was more of a migrant thing that was coming in. But when you go to the Bronx, is where it was more Latinos. It was the opposite. It was like predominantly Puerto Rican in most areas. It was just a different vibe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Every corner there was music going on. There was something going on. Bronx was like live. I'm gonna keep it real. Even when I moved to Queens, we used to go up to the Bronx to chill because there was always something going on in the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like there was always a party, it was always a festival, it was always something going on. Like you know what I mean? So it was always a little bit um more attractive to somebody to want to go up there. You know what I mean? Like
So it's
I
more
don't know how to
exciting.
explain it. It was exciting because it was like, look, you had more festivals, you had more females. It was always like, bro, where's all the chicks, all the Puerto Rican girls? Let's go to the Bronx, let's go to the Bronx, and that's where we used to go chill. We used to go from all the way from Queens to go chill up there in the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like I knew people up there, so we used to go chill regardless. But you know what I mean? It was just a different vibe. You know what I mean? It was just a different vibe.
But I mean, like, was it more rough there compared to like when you grew up in Yonkers?
I don't know, bro. I used to have to fight my way up and down the block. That's how I learned how to fight. I used to get picked on a lot. You know, I didn't experience that in the Bronx. To be honest with you, I didn't. The Bronx was a different. I didn't experience none of that in the Bronx. Bronx, it wasn't like that. It was a different thing. In Yonkers, it was more. It was a little bit rougher. I think Yonkers was a little bit rougher because it was secluded. Um, it's like a suburb. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Like Yonkers is weird, bro. The only way for you to really get around is the bus. For you to go to a train, you gotta walk all the way to the Bronx to catch a subway. There's no subways in Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? So the only way to get around is with a bus or on a bicycle, or you know what I'm saying. So it was a little bit more secluded. So it was a little bit rougher. I think everybody just didn't go nowhere. They just stayed there, and I don't know. It was just weird, bro. Yonkers was a weird town for me. You know what I mean?